Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. As always, we have a jam-packed video for you. We're doing yet another 4-deck day. These decks are the weirdest decks I feel like we've ever covered. These are proven successful decks, just like always on the channel, but they are strange. So before we get there, though, later on today, it's actually today, not 6:20. No one noticed the date was wrong. Later on today at noon Eastern, assuming you're watching this as it airs, on It's Guess Gaming's Twitch, you can find the Snap Judgments League semifinals and finals for Season 2. It's LP Hovercraft versus Bishona and Butt versus Jimmy Dickens, and then the winner of each will play each other. So if you're interested in that, please do check it out over on It's Guess Gaming stream. And tomorrow we'll, of course, cover the top 4 decks for you. We covered this deck on Friday. This is the current #1 deck in Marvel Snap. Created and piloted by No Bast Bounce Guy. No Bast Bounce Guy is a player from, we believe, Qatar, who has been absolutely dominating this season. Played a Black Swan bounce list, and then after the most recent changes, switched to this and took over the #1 spot on the Infinite Leaderboard. I played this list, and I fell absolutely in love with the combo. The first 2 decks we're going to look at are both Titania, White Widow, Green Goblin decks. I think that combo of 3 cards can take over the meta. It is extremely hard to beat if you're not prepared for it, and I strongly urge my viewers to give it a try. First, with this deck. I have no idea who made this. This is an untapped deck. I very rarely actually show untapped decks unless I know where they came from, but I asked around, and apparently no one does. So if you know where this came from, please do let me know, because I spoke to like everybody. I spoke to people on 3 continents all across the world about this. The only person I couldn't find to check with who's regularly makes decks like this is Avazord, who wasn't on today. So if you know who made this deck, please do let me know. This is freaking super cool. It's combining basically 3 different shells. It's got the Kitty, Angela, Athena thing going for it. It's got the Darkhawk with Korg and Rockslide, and then, of course, it's got that other combo I just told you about with White Widow, Rockslide, and Titania. Sorry, White Widow, Rockslide, White Widow, Green Goblin, and Titania. So all 3 of these combos work together reasonably well with Dr. Octopus, who can end up pulling down rocks and getting you ahead, or can just fill a lane. You clog one lane with your Goblin Titania nonsense. You clog another with Dr. Octopus. You know where they're playing that last turn. Your Cannonball takes one lane, playing a card to get Titania back, and takes another lane. And you can play that Titania with White Widow or Green Goblin to ensure yourself the clog. If you play them together, you're going to get that great clog. All right, so I have no idea who made this, but the stats right now are through the roof on this list. I sent it around. A bunch of top players played it. There's another version of this that we're going to talk about from the great Husky Puppies / of course, Yowoody MJ after this. Nocturne is the only replaceable High Circus card here. Red Guardian, Shang-Chi, Jeff, Ravonna, Shadow King, Black Widow, pick your poison. Also, not sure if Cannonball. Cannonball is the wrong card. Not sure if Dr. Octopus should just be Debris here. That could also be Nocturne as Debris. I think Debris might be really, really solid in this list, just giving you yet more clog and control. All right. Korg over Kitty on turn 1. You really want to get that Korg out. Kitty is great in this list, though. Turn 2, Angela, White Widow, or Athena. If you think they are running, and it's hard to tell early, I'm aware. If you think they're running Red Guardian, saving that Athena till turn 2 is better. You would much rather have them hit Angela or obviously White Widow. White Widow does help with the clog. I like to save White Widow for 3 sometimes because White Widow and Titania are really good together. Turn 3, a 2 and a 1 if you play Athena or have Athena, or Rockslide. That is your general goal. Turn 4, Titania and Goblin to clog is better than Rockslide or Nocturne with a 1 plus Athena. You can also feel free to drop 2 2s if you've now got a White Widow and Athena, White Widow and Angela, you're fine. Dr. Octopus or Darkhawk is the turn 5 play. Darkhawk is obviously a better play if you got out that Rockslide or that Korg. And then turn 6 is meant to be Cannonball and 8-1. This list has a number of lines and is extremely powerful. It seems like it's going to be super clunky. And I'm not 1,000% sold on Dr. Octopus, but the win rate here, this is one of the highest win rate decks in Infinite, in top 10% Infinite with like a 67% win rate. It is worth checking out, so please do so. Please hit that sub button as well. We bring you at least 3 brand new decks every single weekday. Tournament decks. We keep you up to date with the Marvel Snap meta and the top of the meta, getting you the best decks before anyone else. If you are subbed, you get 7 days a week of videos. If you're already subbed, please like, comment, watch as long as you can. It will really help us out. All right. So The next deck, I had Husky play it, and Husky says, that last deck's a worse version of a deck I already have. Here's the deck I already have. Husky named this will cost me cubes, but it didn't. Husky's ranked around, I don't know, 37 in the world. Last I was watching his stream, 45, something like that, floating in that general area as I was watching his stream earlier today, and has this really cool take on it. This deck is all about clogging, and then using that clog to make yourself a lovely, like, 20 plus power dagger, which, you know, spoiler, usually wins a friggin' lane, especially with Cannibal. You can find Husky at twitch.tv/HuskyPuppies35. This is not an expensive deck, though. You only need Widow and Cannibal. Red Hulk is good here, but Magneto does the job more or less just fine. Please note, again, look at this deck. Oh, Ghost Spider's still Series 4, huh? In my head, Ghost Spider keeps being moved to Series 3. So if you have Ghost Spider, White Widow, and Cannibal, you can play this list. Ooh, my wife just left. All right. So Husky is absolutely a top player, and Marvel Snap has finished in the top 5 in the Infinite Leaderboard, such as last season, and is excellent. Turn 1 pass, turn 2 is Widow or pass, turn 3 you're gonna get to clogging. You can also play a magic if you must, but you would generally speaking rather start moving things in awkward positions with cards like Green Goblin and Polaris. Turn 4 is further get to clogging. Now you're trying to use Titania to do the same. Turn 5, you're going to magic if you can. If not, you're just going to drop Doc Ock. And now hopefully you've got 2 lanes clogged for that Cannonball play just like before. If you did get that magic out, though, you're going to play magic and another cheaper card, ideally. Turn 6 is you're going to start doing a giant dagger combo. You're hopefully going to have the 2 cards that work with dagger. You're going to punch, push, and pull daggers. So she's so big that one of those clog lanes, even if like it was a Doc Ock clog lane, is 1. If they get like 2 decent sized cards there, dagger can still beat that. Dagger is very often 24 power. And then you end with Red Hulk or Cannonball. And if you don't have the stuff for dagger, you go Red Hulk on 6 and then Cannonball on 7. And that's how you play this list. It's really, really good. I watched Husky playing it. Husky played it after trying that other list. It was like, ooh, and then has just played it for hours. Excellent list, top of the line stuff here. Again, I told you the lists today were weird, but they are really cool. And again, I am like totally obsessed with Titania, Green Goblin, and White Widow as a 3-card combo that I think is genuinely one of the best ways to win games of Marvel Snap. If you are, especially if you're struggling pre-infinite, these lists, if you can get that clog, you're basically forcing retreats against real players, right? Like, real players will generally, if they're clogged and can't compete, often run. And if you're playing a bot, the bot's going to read that it's ahead in that Titania lane and stay in and maybe even snap you back, and then you get more cubes that way. I think that this is really strong once more. Hey, if you'd like to see gameplay from these decks and more, check out the stream team. On Monday, we have Gregor2424 at noon streaming decks. I'm hoping to he'll stream some decks from today, and then tomorrow's decks, which are the top 4 Snap Judgments League decks. Our friend GamingwithFlashX has also been testing these decks out. All right. Today's decks are weird. FAK Crazy has this completely crazy Loki list. He's got like a 65% win rate in like 60 games with this, so like it's a real list. But it looks so weird. It is Black Knight Loki. You are not doing 2 game plans here. You are choosing between game plans, whether you're going to Black Knight or Loki. But hey, those are 2 real strong game plans. The Black Knight game plan is sort of inconsistent, right? So if you don't get the stuff for Black Knight, you just locate away and try again. The Loki stuff can, sometimes you don't see Loki. Well, guess what? You've got all these high power cards to play because of the Black Knight plan. So you can find Crazy at twitch.tv/crazymsnap. He is streaming largely in English. You should 100% check him out. He's one of the best players in the history of Marvel Snap. Black Knight and Loki are needed. Snowguard can be Maria Hill. Mobius can be Juggernaut, Nocturne, Red Guardian, Rogue. Pick a good 3. Mobius is great for the mirror, but not a requirement otherwise. So Crazy was the first place person on the Infinite Leaderboard in both March and April, and then on April it didn't show his name, and it frustrated him, and he stopped trying as much to be there, but he's still one of the best players and has started streaming. So turn 1, it's Black Knight versus Quinjet. Depends what else you have in hand. You have the Loki stuff in hand. Quinjet's better, obviously. If not, Black Knight's better. Quinjet will also make the Shard cheaper. Turn 2 is Cable or Valentina, or discard. Valentina means it's just generally good stuff. I'm not sure what I want to do. Discard the card for Black Knight if you can, or just drop a Cable, get one of your opponent's cards. Turn 3, Mobius, if you don't have anything else going on, or you can see your opponent is setting up one of those like I make cards cheaper combos. If not, Coulson to set up Loki, or Lady Sif to set up a Ghost Rider, or if you have Black Knight. And then the rest of the game is fundamentally simple. It's a Loki versus Shard versus Ghost Rider versus Valentina card, and you just sort of decide between those for the rest of the game. Sometimes you're going to drop Coulson in a 2 on turn 5 or a Coulson card on turn 4, but you get the idea at that point. There's a lot to like here. This is very powerful. Loki remains one of the best things to do in all of Marvel Snap, bar none. All right, last deck of the day. Oh, I thought I had something in between here, but I guess not. This is our friend Buddy Lean's Gilgamesh Galaxy. This was taken to Conquest and absolutely dominated. I had Flash playing this, and Flash is in love, thinks this deck is absolutely killer. Jean Grey is in a really great place. If you're not playing those Thena Kitty things, Jean is an absolute beast, and even if so, for this in particular, Jean gives you a lot of power with your Guardians cards in particular. White Widow and Nebula are like sort of soft Jean Greys in a way, which is also pretty damn good. Plus, if you can get 2 Guardians triggers, you've got a 5/11 Gilgamesh. Gamora is a 5/12. We're in the same range of power, and having that kind of power on your 5 drops is really, really great. You can find Buddy at twitter.com/BuddyLean. Buddy is awesome, makes tons of great and unique decks and worth following. Although, obviously, you should not be on Twitter. No one should ever be on Twitter. Widow or Nebula can be Lizard. I would not change both, but one can be. Iron Lad can be Jubilee. I'd also like to fit Negasonic in here just for the record, but I couldn't figure out how. And the other high series cards are needed. Hit this one 11-1 in Conquest and 1-3 Infinity tickets, according to Buddy, so that's pretty damn good. Turn 1 is Nebula or Pass, you are definitely saving Rocket. Turn 2 is Widow, is generally better than Medusa, which is generally better than Star-Lord. Turn 3, you would like to Storm. You Storm and Nebula lane fairly often, or you drop Jean. I like Storm better, but Jean is also very good. Depends what your opponent is playing too. If you can tell your opponent's just playing big shit, then Jean is better. If not, Storm and win. For turn 4, I often like to play 2 cheap things. That's a really good time for like a Widow and Medusa, for example. But Lad is perfectly fine. Know what's in your deck. A deck tracker is good when you're running Lad. Or you can just drop Drax, because 4/9 is still great. Turn 5, Gamora or Gilgamesh. And then turn 6 is usually the same with Rocket. But sometimes you drop Goliath if your opponent's running, like, for example, a Silver Surfer list. Nice and simple to play, right? These are really simple play patterns. The prediction is made easier by cards like Nebula, White Widow, and Jean Grey, and obviously Storm, which makes your Star-Lord, Rocket, Gamora, and Drax significantly better. It's a very cool list. Props to Buddy for coming up with something so distinct and so unique. Hey, if you're interested in competing with the top players of Marvel Snap on June 23rd, hey, and at June 30th, you can do so by joining the Snap Masters 3 open qualifications. In the tournament are Sizer, Spyro. Yep, that's 2 of the top players. Spyro will be on the podcast in a couple weeks with Sizer. We've got FAK Andrew Var and FAK Lawson, 2 of the FAK players. Team FAK is one of the premier teams in Marvel Snap. We've got Streamer Johnson, Tori-kun, Desmond, Lambie Series, W, Brother, and hey, Husky Puppies. We just saw Husky Puppies 35 earlier. You should check him out on Twitch. Yeah. There's also one more invitee to be announced. I think I know who it is, but I'm not going to tell you. If you're interested in competing with these great players for up to $350 in prizes, check it out. Questions of the day. All right, Lord Farron asked what makes a deck considered toxic, and that's pretty simple. Deck considered toxic is a deck that either doesn't let you, the opponent, complete the game plan. We're talking goblins, we're talking rocks, stuff like that. Or a deck that reduces your power a lot. Says what you played doesn't do what it says on the tin. So we're talking, generally speaking, negative power stuff, affliction stuff. That is traditionally what toxic means. Leggett asked what I think of a rotation system. I think a rotation system is a really great idea down the line, but they have to solve card acquisition first. You can't rotate out cards like Jeff that people save up for, because someone this week, I'm sure, absolutely just bought Jeff. The reason Jeff doesn't go down tiers is because people still buy him, right? So if someone just bought Jeff and then it rotates out in a few months, that's completely obnoxious. It really, really hurts the sales of the game. So there will eventually be a rotation system, but I think they need to like settle what the hell they're doing with card acquisition first. I.e., they also desperately need catch-up mechanics. Anthony Garces asks if I play other games other than Marvel Snap, and is particularly excited for Elden Ring at DLC. So first, let's take Elden Ring. That's kind of game requires like reflexes and patience and time, and I don't have that anymore. I have a full-time job, a kid, a wife. Well, 2 full-time jobs if you count the union work, and God knows that's a full-time job too. Plus, I do a video every day, and write articles for Marvel Snap. So like free time isn't my best friend. So I don't have time to like lose and die 8 times on a game. The only game I've ever really done that with that I liked was Hades, um, because Hades was completely addictive and worked for me. But other than that, that's not my thing. The other type of game I play is generally I love JRPGs. I would really, really like to play the Crossbell Saga of the Trails this summer. I don't really like action RPGs, not because I'm bad at them. I'm actually perfectly fine at most action RPGs, but I just prefer turn-based stuff. I like strategy. I like thinking things through. Um, I've got Aiden Chronicle waiting lined up. So that will be like Aiden Chronicle or the Crossbell games will be my summer games. Also hoping to read that book, Babel, which we talked about on Friday's video. So yes, that and SC Don't Be Evil has a question that goes with this, what's a good game for someone with bad reflexes other than Marvel Snap? So JRPGs don't require any kind of reflexes, though some require some button presses like Super Mario RPG, Shadow Hearts, Legend Dragoon, a few other indie games and such. Sea of Stars require time button presses. Most do not, and require just thoughts. So I strongly suggest you check out some JRPGs. Some of my favorites that are available on your phone are Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, and Dragon Quest V. Lunar, the Silver Star Story Complete is also available for the phone, but that one is more of an acquired taste. Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, and Dragon Quest V, I think, can be enjoyed by absolutely anyone. I think they're just brilliant games. I wish I had some non-Square recommendations for non for games that are available on your phone, but most other companies don't do an amazing job at that, at least in my experience. If anyone knows of any that fit the mold that I'm talking about, please let me know in the comments. The other game that I strongly suggest you play, my personal favorite non-Marvel Snap game, is Slay the Spire. I play Slay the Spire all the time. There's 4 heroes as a deck building roguelite where you climb, you build strategies with the cards you get, and then you try and complete this tower to escape as one of your 4 characters. I only really, at this point, I've beat the game up to like, I was Ascension 7 or 8 with everyone, and I got up to 17 with Silent before I was like, I proved what I needed to for this, and went back, and now I just play regular, like either Ascension 1 or Ascension 5 with Silent, because Silent is my favorite character, and I think it's a just absolute blast. Slay the Spire is amazing. And then if you like Slay the Spire, there's other games like Monster Train, which are like Spire-likes, that are worth checking out as well. Although I don't really need much other than Slay. I can play Slay for the rest of my life. One more game, although it has a bunch of expansions that can make it fairly expensive. Sentinels of the Multiverse has a mobile app and a Steam game that are fantastic. But again, you're going to want to get the expansions pretty quickly for those, and that can get, I don't know, reasonably, not like crazy expensive, but reasonably expensive as well. Hey, certain tiers of support on our Patreon come with on-air thanks. I'd like to offer thanks to the patreon.com, to the patrons that are on the next slide. But first, if you're interested, check out patreon.com/snapjudgments. I'd like to say thank you to Abigail Giesland, Mentor Burnout, Gables, who was chilling in Flash's stream with me earlier, It Regardless, David G. Wingfield, Direwolf, LAB, always kind, FaThorNewman, Good Dog Gamer, This Is the Way, all the way from Scotland, Inc. I am Frostman, you sure are. Ink replied to me the other day. I haven't heard from Ink in forever. Thank you, Ink. Jay Navreet, Doomer, hey Doomer, Hirtix Lee, Boy Ray, Pyrophoros, The Goat Seeker, Denman Falcon, Docty, the king of new card content, Fat Nick, Doku, Ginger Prime, hello Ginger, Philip Rakovich, hello Racco, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, Rob Silverman, The Bizza, X-Force V and Skippy G, Tommy Nyquist, who won Snap Judgment League Season 1, The King of Bros, bruh, Black Dahlia, The Great Kazoo, Jessica Gamble, hello Jess, Ryan Wood, R. Woody, Kev Sihota, who's kicking butt with bounce, let's go, Lunacris, or was it Lunacris? Crap, now I don't remember which of you two it was. I'll double check later. One of you two is kicking butt with bounce. Keep doing it. Louis Antonez, Models, the Mod Supreme, Darth Tater, who is the one and only Remus Atala, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, Jason B., the Fuzzy Dunlop, Spectrum Mix, Matt H., DJ Mikey Hijinks, No Frickin' Flex, Ocularis, Greg Sterry, Pretty Damn Chill, Seamus, maybe caught up, hard to say, Jonesy, Two Ties, The Pirate King Tuccrr, who I hope is having a wonderful trip, the Homie Min, who I hope is having a wonderful headspace, and of course Gunny T, where the T stands for He was on the podcast yesterday with FaThorNewman and JJ Rolk. We did top 10 sleeper decks in Marvel Snap. You should check that out. It's a long podcast, but I think it's worth it. See you tomorrow. More Snap Take, tournament decks. Peace.